Hello again to the Loudermilk Farm how-to videos. I wanted to take this opportunity today to talk about our new barn that we're going to build. This is the pad that I've created. There's still a little bit of work needs to be done, but we started off on this barn project. I don't know, maybe we were a little naive, but essentially we've learned a lot just in this little bit of time here. So we had an old barn, sitting here. The corner was out there, that water spigot, and a tree fell through it. So I demoed that, and I didn't get video of this, but I'll sprinkle in some still photographs that I took during the process. But anyway, I demoed the barn, and there was two large tree stumps here, big red oaks. I don't know, I would say their diameter was easily between 2.5 and 3 feet. I rented a very large John Deere backhoe, and I dug those out. It wasn't too intimidating a project, as I do have some heavy equipment experience in my background. So I was able to get them dug out. It was harder than I thought it was going to be, and you'll see a picture of that here as well. So anyway, once I kind of had the site prepped, I went to the county for a permit, and they told me I had to have a demolition permit for the old barn, which I'd already demoed. And I told them, a tree had fallen through it, and I pretty much just hauled it off in chunks. They seemed to accept that fine. But they said I had to have a geotechnical soil analysis done, and the report that is generated as part of that process is required by the county, because we have expansive clay soils here. So that was $2,200 all said and done, and a big pain in the butt. But anyway, I did find somebody that could come out here pretty quick, and they had an auger. They're supposed to bore 3 holes 10 feet deep and take soil samples as they went. But our soil was too compacted for them to be able to do that. Luckily, I had that backhoe here getting ready to pull these 2 stumps out that I was telling you about, and I was able to dig the holes for him. And we dug 2 very large 10 feet deep holes with the backhoe, and he was able to get his samples. Well, a month and a half later, the report comes back, and their recommendation was to dig 2 feet down, inside the perimeter of where the building's going to go, and fill that with a structural fill such as recycled concrete. And I priced that out. Most estimates were between $5,500 and $6,000 for that. And I was planning on digging it myself. That's just for the gravel, or for the reclaimed concrete to get hold of. I did find one company that was willing to do it for $3,600, and I was happy to find that. So anyway, I was going back and forth with the geotechnical engineers with their recommendations, and they recommended a structural engineer. I was like, well, I know I can't afford that, but I priced some out. I called about 4. I got a hold of one, and he was saying $2,500, which I couldn't do. I then called the county, and they said, well, for a residential homeowner, you don't have to have like a bona fide structural engineer. You can sketch it on a napkin, and there'll be some back and forth. We'll send it back for revisions a few times, but we'll eventually get it hashed out. And I felt pretty relieved at that. At that point, I was going to go with what the geotechnical engineers had recommended. But then I had one of those structural engineering firms call me back, and they were good old boys, so to speak. And they were like, we do those foundation designs all the time. We'll take one and we'll make some changes on it, and it'll be just as good as new, and we'll do it for $225. So I was like, sold. Well, when their design come back, I was surprised that very few of the geotechnical engineers' design recommendations were in there. So I called them. I'm like, yeah, I got a problem with this design. The design doesn't reflect all the recommendations made by the geotechnical engineer. And they were like, well, we've got our own geotechnical engineer, and we've talked to him, and although you are on expansive clay soil, most of the content of that soil is silt, and our design is designed for that. It's designed for your soil, you know. So in their design, I don't have to dig 2 feet down and put in reclaimed concrete. So it saved me thousands of dollars. So one of the lessons I've learned is, you know, try to find a structural engineer. And the other thing was, you know, I was concerned about the county seeing the difference between the structural engineering foundation design and what the geotechnical engineer had recommended, and that being a red flag. But apparently, the structural engineer kind of outranks the geotechnical engineers. So anyway, what we do have to do here is we have to dig down, you know, the footers along the perimeter of the concrete slab have to be 4 feet deep by 16 inches wide. No interior beams. They recommended, you know, 6 inches of number 57 stone under the slab. We're going to go with 8 inches just to be a little bit of there. And we're also going to put a 6 millimeter poly moisture barrier under there. And then there's some additional rebar reinforcement that they've added in there. So I can't get an estimate on the concrete slab until I get a permit from the county, and I'm waiting on architectural drawings for the building itself before I will be able to get those. But I mean, like the old barn is gone, obviously. The 2 big tree stumps that were right there and right there are gone. As soon as we get the slab poured, we'll be removing this building right here. This one's going to stay up until the building is built. Then it's going to get tore down, and I'm going to run the road that goes to our other gate way down there through where this building used to be. So a lot going on here. Very large project. And I'll also put in some images of you know, the barn we chose, which is pretty cool. So, you know, we're gonna have a main bay that's 30 feet wide by 35 feet deep, and then we're gonna have 2 lean-tos on each side. The lean-to over here in front of where Ada's playing right now is going to be just a porch area, just to enjoy the sunsets and whatnot. This lean-to over here is going to be for my tractor and all of its implements and attachments and all that good stuff. Probably, you know, chicken food, cat food, dog food, and any other kind of foods, along with all the stuff that's, you know, over there in that shipping container, which is where all the contents of our barn are pretty much. You know, the mobile mini is great as well. That's at 25 feet wide, or maybe 20 feet wide. I think it's 20 feet wide. Anyway, it's kind of a one-up size. It's $173 a month, and we were able to get pretty much everything in there. The main thing that was in our barn that couldn't go in that is all that stuff. Like in the barn, I had like a motor pool area where the previous owner used to keep goats in the winter, and I used to keep all those implements and tractor attachments in there. So they're out in the weather now. Kind of sucks. But anyway, and our plan is, you know, we're gonna, you know, have this big barn, 2 big 9 feet wide by 8 foot tall garage doors, 13 windows. It's gonna be pretty nice. Like I said, I'll show you an image in the video. But anyway, that's pretty much it for now. I'll try to do better about videoing the remainder of the construction process. I know when it dries out some, this is kind of a lot of mud right now, When it dries out some, Ada and I are gonna fine tune this pad. It's within about 2 inches of being level right now, but we're gonna get it within a ½ inch. I got a big laser level I bought with some Christmas money that we can use. It's one of the Bosch professional grade ones. It'll level this thing right out. And because we're going with a thicker layer of that number 57 stone under the slab, I want to make sure that the grade is right. This being the upper corner, I don't want it sticking way up out of the dirt and have to build a big ramp to go up into it. But it does need to stick up a little, for drainage and stuff of that nature. But anyway, we're thinking about all that, and we will certainly keep you posted with some better video and stuff of what we go through in the future. Anyway, thanks and bye.